You know, in the world of personal development and holistic healing, there are a few books that have had the kind of lasting impact of You Can Heal Your Life by Louise L. It was first published way back in 1984, but it's become this absolute spiritual classic, loved by millions all over the world. And its message? It's both incredibly simple and so profound. You are the creator of your life, and if you change your thoughts, you can absolutely change your reality, physically, emotionally, and spiritually.
So, in this explainer, we're going to journey through the 6 key areas that really form the foundation of this powerful book. We'll start with the profound message behind it, then we'll dive into how our thoughts create our reality, discover some amazing tools for transformation, understand the mind-body connection, see healing in action, and finally, we'll reflect on its incredible, lasting legacy.
Okay, so before we dive into the book's teachings, I think it's really essential to understand the woman behind them. Louise Hay, well, she wasn't a psychologist or a medical doctor. She was a metaphysical teacher who literally overcame a traumatic childhood, poverty, and even a cancer diagnosis. Her own personal healing journey became the very foundation for her teachings. And later, she founded Hay House Publishing, which created a platform for so many other voices in the self-help world. Now, what makes her message so incredibly compelling is that her life story is a living testament to the power of her philosophy. See, she wasn't some teacher in an ivory tower. She was someone who applied these exact principles to her own life and saw this profound transformation firsthand. She didn't just teach healing, she lived it. And that just makes her work all the more authentic and deeply inspiring. All right, at the absolute heart of You Can Heal Your Life is this core idea. Our thoughts and our beliefs are the primary architects of our lives. Hay basically asserts that every illness, every emotional struggle, every single life challenge can be traced back to a specific pattern of thought. And these patterns, a lot of the time they're unconscious, formed way back in our early childhood, and then just reinforced over years and years.
She writes, "Every thought we think is creating our future." Just think about that for a second. It's such a powerful statement. What it means is that if we truly, genuinely want to change our lives, we have to begin right at the source, by changing our thoughts.
So Hay encourages us to become like detectives of our own minds, to really dig in and examine our core beliefs, especially the ones that are self-limiting or self-destructive. You know the ones. They might sound like, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve love. Or maybe it's those ingrained beliefs like, money is hard to come by, or I'll never be healthy. And here's the crucial part. She explains that these beliefs are not fixed truths. They are simply learned ideas, and anything that can be learned can also be unlearned. The whole process of healing, it begins right there, with that awareness and then just the simple willingness to change. But here's the thing. This book is so much more than just theory. Louise Hay doesn't just present this philosophy and then leave you hanging. No, she provides a really practical and accessible toolkit for transformation. She offers these tangible methods that literally anyone can use to begin their healing journey. Her methods are really simple, but they are deeply powerful, and they focus on 3 core practices that we're about to explore. First, affirmations, for rewriting your inner script. Second, mirror work, for facing yourself with love. And third, forgiveness, which is all about releasing the past. Okay, so affirmations are absolutely central to Hay's work. They're basically positive present tense statements that help reprogram your subconscious mind. She recommends using them every single day to reinforce new beliefs. So for example, instead of thinking, I'm not worthy, you'd affirm, I am worthy of love and respect. Or you'd shift from, I'm always sick, to, I am healthy, whole, and complete. The key here isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's about consciously choosing to focus on what you want to create, rather than on what you fear. Next up is mirror work, which is, well, it's maybe one of Hay's most transformative practices. It's so simple, it just involves looking directly into your own eyes in a mirror and saying loving affirmations. And let me tell you, this can be surprisingly emotional, especially for those of us who have never really truly looked at ourselves with acceptance.
Hay suggests starting with the absolute simplest of phrases, like, I love you, I really, really love you. It might feel awkward at first, for sure, but over time, this practice really helps to dissolve that inner critic and builds a solid foundation of genuine self-acceptance.
Forgiveness is the third cornerstone of Hay's healing philosophy. She teaches that holding on to anger or resentment or guilt, it just keeps us chained to the past and stuck in that pain. But crucially, forgiveness is not about condoning harmful behavior from other people. It's about freeing ourselves from those emotional chains. And Hay offers exercises to help readers forgive others and, just as importantly, to forgive themselves.
Now, one of the most unique and, at the time, pretty controversial aspects of You Can Heal Your Life is Hay's deep exploration of the emotional causes behind physical illness. In the book, she actually presents a detailed chart that links specific ailments to their corresponding mental and emotional patterns. So, for example, she suggests that asthma could be linked to suppressed crying or feeling stifled. Arthritis might correspond to a pattern of criticism and resentment, and diabetes could relate to a deep sorrow or a longing for what might have been. Now, it is so vital to note that this approach is never presented as a substitute for medical treatment. Never. Instead, it's a powerful tool for self-inquiry and for emotional healing. Hay encourages us to get curious and just ask, what might my body be trying to communicate? And then use affirmations to support the physical healing process. And throughout the book, Hay doesn't just talk about ideas. She shares these powerful stories of real people who have used her methods to overcome some really serious challenges, everything from cancer and addiction to financial hardship and depression. I mean, these stories are incredible testimonials to her approach. There's this one moving story of a woman who healed from a chronic illness after she finally worked through her childhood trauma. And there's another about a man who overcame a lifetime of poverty just by shifting his deep-seated beliefs about money and his own self-worth.
And these stories aren't presented like they're one-off miracles. They're shared as these tangible examples of what becomes possible when we consciously align our thoughts with love, with forgiveness, and with a sense of our own empowerment.
Finally, I think it's really important to understand the spiritual foundation of Louise Hay's work. Her teachings are deeply spiritual, but they aren't tied to any one specific religion, which is what makes them so accessible and welcoming to a huge audience, no matter their background.
She often talks about a universal intelligence, or an infinite spirit that's always guiding us toward our highest good. So when we align with that energy through love and gratitude and trust, we start to experience more flow and healing in our lives. She writes, life is really very simple. What we give out, we get back. This just beautifully echoes metaphysical principles like the law of attraction, suggesting that our outer world is really just a mirror of our inner state. Now, while this book has helped millions of people, it has also faced its fair share of criticism. Some argue that it oversimplifies really complex issues, or that it places too much responsibility on individuals for their own suffering. Hay acknowledged this, and she was always so clear that her work is not about blame, it's about empowerment. She invites readers to take responsibility not as some kind of burden, but as a direct path to freedom. Ultimately, You Can Heal Your Life it's more than a book, it's a movement. Louise Hay's teachings continue to inspire people to look within, to love themselves, and to reclaim their power. Her legacy lives on, and for anyone who's ready to begin their own healing journey, this book offers not just insight, but a gentle, loving roadmap right back to yourself. And we'll just leave you with this final, powerful thought from Louise Hay herself. The point of power is always in the present moment.